In the latter half of the 16th century in Europe, two growing powers finally came to blows, kicking off the Anglo Spanish War. Spain had completed what was known as the Reconquista, which was basically recapturing the entire Spanish peninsula from the Moors, who had been governing much of the southern part of Spain for centuries. The Spanish objective was not only just to replace the ruling elite in those regions, but also to replace the whole Moorish population of Muslims with Spanish Catholics. With Spain now secured, the leaders looked to other locations to spread their power and also the power of the Catholic Church. With a strong Catholic France to the north and an emerging powerhouse of the Ottoman Empire spreading across North Africa to the south, Spain had limited direct paths to power, so it decided to build new ships and set out on expeditions of exploration and conquest. This started with the conquest of the Canary Islands and later moved on to what was known as the New World, starting with the voyages of Christopher Columbus. And with a combination of spreading European diseases and also Spanish firepower, Spain managed to defeat most of the organized resistance to the growth of the power in the Americas, including the defeat of the Aztec and Incan empires, gaining up not only large tracts of new land, but enormous amounts of gold, silver, and other valuable items from the New World. This valuable cargo then needed to be shipped back across the Atlantic for the Spanish rulers to profit from their conquests. This movement of goods created a whole new design of ship, became known as the galleon. These ships had far larger hulls than other ships of the time, were so expensive, also time-consuming to actually build. Galleons, as well as having a comparatively huge area for cargo, were also stable in rough weather and fairly fast, and they could safely make it quickly back to Spain with their valuable cargo. This size and stability of the galleons also meant that guns could be added to the top deck of the ship without really impacting on the performance of the vessel, so it could produce considerable firepower if attacked by pirates, who were able to protect their potentially valuable cargo from being stolen. Galleons also turned out to be so flexible a design of ships that in times of war it was also relatively easy to convert a galleon from an armed transport vessel into a pure battleship. Once the cargo had been removed, the lower decks could be fitted with a great many guns, giving the new galleon a broadside of unmatched firepower. The sturdy ocean-going hulls of the galleons also meant in a pitched battle the hulls could take quite a significant pounding before sinking. Like many good innovations, however, the galleon was soon copied by other naval powers, so it wasn't entirely a Spanish power thing. While the new territories in the Americas were added to Spain by conquest, Spain did manage to find another route to expanding power in Europe. Like most of the royal families in Europe, there was a lot of intermarriage between other royal houses. One particular set of marriages, followed by a convenient series of deaths and successions, along with some treaty negotiations, resulting in Spain becoming rulers of what is known as the Spanish Netherlands, which is basically where Belgium and Luxembourg are today. While the initial takeover of this land was peaceful, it didn't remain that way for long. There was a growing resentment in the area, questioning why should they be ruled by Spain. This resentment was added to by the Protestant movement, notably led by the Calvinists, who were unhappy with the deeply Catholic Spanish policies regarding religion. Eventually this turned into insurrection and war, and Spain was forced to send many troops to the Netherlands to fight both the rebels and also alongside those foreign fighters supporting the rebels, most notably the English Protestants, who were happily supported by the English rulers who saw expanding Spanish power as a direct threat to their country. England, as well as attempting to disrupt Spanish rule in the Netherlands, was also deeply concerned about the volume of treasure being brought into Spain from the Americas. With this in mind, English privateers, a kind of officially sanctioned pirate, began smuggling operations in Spanish-held territories, avoided paying Spanish taxes, and making substantial trade profits in the process. These privateers then stepped up their actions, resorted to attacking Spanish treasure ships, and even occasionally attacked and captured Spanish cities, like the Spanish city of Santo Domingo, burning and capturing some Spanish ships in the process. This enraged Spain. Rather than immediately going to war with England, Spain also tried their form of harassing activity by assisting Irish Catholics in Ulster in the hope of turning the whole of Ireland against the English. This in general is how this low-level conflict boiled over then into the English getting concerned over how powerful the Spanish Navy was becoming, resulting in the Queen's favourite privateer, Francis Drake, conducting a series of raids against the Spanish Navy in Spain itself. Serious attacks culminated in an attack on the Spanish fleet at anchor in the Bay of Cadiz, what became known as singeing the King of Spain's beard. Drake, commanding a substantial fleet of ships, some of which were the most powerful in the Royal Navy, and sailed into Cadiz, where it appeared a Spanish fleet was assembling in preparation for an attack on England. The Spanish fleet consisted of some warships, but also many smaller troop transports and merchantmen. Drake then sailed his ships close in towards the merchantmen and began offloading their cargo. Once these were emptied, he then set those ships on fire. The Spanish attempted to strike back at the raiding fleet, but even with the assistance of the shore batteries, they were outgunned. They did manage to capture one English ship, which became isolated during the fighting. However, the English also managed to capture 5 Spanish ships and burn or destroy many more. During the attack, there was a relatively minor incident which later played a major role in the fighting. The English managed to destroy thousands of barrel staves, the curved planks of wood which are needed in the construction of wooden barrels and kegs. This whole naval action both ensured that a naval attack on England by Spain was now inevitable, but also the losses inflicted on Spain were such that the Spanish Armada wouldn't actually be able to sail till the following year.